Hello Algebra 2. This is the second video and it is about factoring general trinomials. Our learning target is I can factor a general trinomial when a equals 1. The first question that's listed in our notes is what is the standard form of a quadratic expression? And that is ax squared plus bx plus c. And this is important because you're going to be needing to put all of your expressions in standard form before you factor them. So you want to have the x squared term first, the x term second, and the constant last. So our examples are already in the correct form. And remember from Algebra 1, you're going to be factoring, so you're actually going to be doing reverse FOIL. So the first way to do it is using logic, and you'll think about what times what would be equal x squared. So we're doing reverse FOIL using logic. And our first term, we're going to break that down first. So x squared can only be broken down as x times x. Then we want to think about the last term. So what two factors of our last term, how can we break down 12 that would end up adding up to 7? So the couple ways you could break down 12 is 4 times 3, or we could break it down as 6 times 2 or 12 times 1. Now we're going to place these two numbers in our last spot and which two would end up adding up to 7? That's right, it'd be 4 and 3. So if I add a 4 and a 3 here, and they'd have to be positive for them to add up to plus 7, then I'm always, every time I factor, I'm going to multiply to check. So we have x squared and then our outside would be 3x, our inside is 4x, and our last would be 12. So when we combine like terms, 3x and 4x plus 4x would be 7x. So we factored that correctly. Our second one here, we have negative signs. So we have to think about what that would mean. And again, I'm going to stay with this method of reverse FOIL and logic. That's the one way to do it. There's a second way I'll show you in a minute. But our first terms we want to look at first. What times what is x squared? And that can only be x times x. Now we look at our last, and we have to think about what two factors would then add up to negative 2. So we have negative 8, so it could be negative 4 times 2. It could be 4 times negative 2. It could be 8 times negative 1, or negative 8 times 1. Okay, so when we look at all of these options, the one that would add up, if we had to add them, they would be negative 4 and 2 would add up to negative 2. So let's multiply to check, and we have x squared minus 4x plus 2x minus 8. So minus 4x plus 2x is minus 2x, so we completed that one correctly. Okay, our number 7 is a perfect square trinomial. So let's see what that means. And we can do it the same way, our reverse FOIL or using logic. So x times x would be equal to x squared. And then what two numbers would multiply to 25? And it would have to be either positive 5 times 5, positive 5, or negative 5 times negative 5. For it to add up to negative 10, which option would it be? Correct. It would be negative 5 and negative 5. So we call this a perfect square trinomial, where you have the same binomial times itself that would be multiplied to this trinomial. And we check it the same way as all the others, but x squared minus 5x, and then minus 5x plus 25. Okay, our last one is another perfect square trinomial, so go ahead and pause the video and try that one. Okay, if you factored x squared plus 8x plus 16, you should get x plus 4 times x plus 4, and another way to write that would be x plus 4 squared. A second method other than reverse FOIL would be using the box method in reverse. So if you put your first and last in your box, and then you think about what two terms, so x and x would be multiplied to x squared, and then think about 16, what two numbers would multiply to 16, and then you would add up to 8. So you could do 4 times 4, 8 times 2, but already we can see that 8 times 2 would add up to 10, so it must be our 4 here. So 4 times x would be 4x, and x times 4 would be 4x. So, and those combined would be 8x. So our two factors would be on the outside of the box this time, and we're getting the same answer with this reverse box method, x plus 4 times x plus 4. Okay. All right, hope you have a great night. We'll see you in class and practice some more.